Let me guess, you want this shiny little icon on your profile, but you just don't know how to get it. Well, don't worry, because today we're analyzing everything about Prestige and how you can get it the easy way. But every tip I'm about to give you connects with the previous one. So focus up and stick to the end and your Prestige pushes will become a piece of cake. Starting off, let's briefly explain what this damn thing even is. Prestige is more like a system. People are fighting for a place in the global leaderboard. So if you get to top 200 in the world with a brawler when the season ends, you get this amazing icon on your profile. Also, the number represents how many times you have finished at the top 200. So if you get Mortis Prestige in 2 different seasons, for example, you're gonna get 2 prestiges, regardless of the fact that you pushed the same brawler. But this means that you can find a brawler that you're comfortable pushing and get as many prestiges as you want. So let's see how you can find the perfect brawler for you. First, this is obvious, but your brawler needs to be maxed out and preferably have a hypercharge. Otherwise, you'll have a major disadvantage. Now that we got that out the way, we need to analyze your playstyle. If you like going aggressive to create pressure for your team, for example, you should consider pushing a tank or an assassin. But if you like more passive roles and staying behind cover, for example, consider pushing a sniper or a thrower. But just to make it easier for you, these are the best brawlers that you can push no matter what. They're good for prestige because not a lot of people play with them, therefore the trophy requirements to get there is lower than the other brawlers. But no matter what you pick, if you start pushing in the wrong mode, you won't get far. So let's rank the best and worst game modes to push your prestiges. Starting with Brawl. If you're not a well-established player, don't bother. Brawl is the sweatiest mode to push in because all good players mostly play there. You can give it a try, but if you seem to be losing a lot, you should change. Heist too. A lot of good people play in Heist, but it's less competitive than Brawl. Plus, if you don't have a really good comp in Heist, there's a chance you might lose against worse players too. Now, Gem Grab is better. There are still good players pushing there, but most people find it boring as a mode, so they usually pick something else. Hot Zone is less competitive than Gem Grab, but at the same time, I found that it's harder to win against good players here because of how easy it is for them to spawn trap you. Now, Bounty and Knockout are completely different. In Bounty, you'll face sweatier players that know how to aim and dodge better, but in Knockout, you won't face that many good players. And when you do, they're mostly gonna be playing Kit and a tank, which is the most popular strategy for this mode. So you can pick a brawler to counter that to win easier. But it's not over yet, because the best game modes to push prestige on by far are limited time ones. Not a lot of people play these, so the matchmaking time might be slightly longer, but it's worth the wait because you won't face a lot of sweaty players. But the problem is they're out for a limited time, so sometimes you can't play there. In that case, I would pick either Knockout, Hot Zone or Gem Grab if I was starting out. You can try Bounty, Heist or Brawl if you're more experienced, but it's gonna be tougher. And as a bonus, try playing in poorly designed maps. For example, more good players are gonna be playing in Hot Zone if the map is Dueling Beetles because it's a really good competitive map. But no one wants to push in Fishing Bed because that map sucks, so that's your chance to push. But you can't push prestige all by yourself. You need to have good teammates that you can trust and are at the same level as you or even better. Of course, you can join my Discord server to find them easily. The link is in the description down below. Now, if you're planning on pushing with the same teammates every time, you need to choose brawlers that are good in general. The problem with that is that better brawlers require more trophies for the leaderboards. So to determine how many trophies you need at the end of the season, check out the last place at the all-time leaderboards and subtract 100 to 200 trophies depending on how popular the brawler is. But if you don't push with the same teammates, you can pick something off meta and tell them to pick a meta brawler to help you with your push. But once you find good teammates, it's time for you to build a really good comp that has good synergy. It's really important for your comp to have little to no flaws. So if one of your brawlers gets hard countered by another brawler or a strategy that is used in the mode you're playing, your teammates' brawlers should counter that. For example, one common strategy in Hot Zone is bury with a tank. If you pick a controller, you're gonna get countered if you face that because you won't have a lot of DPS to deal with it. But if your teammate goes a super high DPS brawler, they can hard counter the tank while you control the zone. But apart from that, your team needs to have synergy. Synergy is when the whole team of brawlers can combine their abilities to make a nearly unstoppable push. Think of Max with a tank or Gus with an assassin. Super easy to execute, really hard for the opponents to deal with it. Now, if you want more strategy strategies, let me know down in the comments and I'll make a specific video about the best of them. But the next most important thing is the matchmaking. If you follow these next few tricks, you're mostly gonna be facing against casual players and your prestige pushes will be much easier. First, if you have a win streak of 10 or above, you should know that it's more likely to face better players. So to fix that, every time you get to 10, go in duels and lose on purpose to reset your win streak. Now, if you've been playing for long enough and you've faced a lot of good teams, this means that you are not likely to face them again. This is called clearing matchmaking. So don't change game modes and keep going if you have already played a lot of matches in one game mode. Now, the best time to play is later at night or earlier in the morning. That way you can avoid facing better players because they're not online at those hours. But if you're high in trophies, for example 1500 plus, you lose a lot of them when you lose a match. So if it's your first games of the day, play some matches in Map Maker to warm up, or if possible, find some friends and play in friendly matches in the same map you plan to push. Now, prestige is hard no matter what, so you need to do some planning. Always stick to one brawler and one game mode and grind it out. You can also look a day ahead and prepare for the next map. But if you seem to be winning a lot in one particular map, don't stop for the day. This is an indication that your comp is working here, so that's your opportunity to keep going and get as many trophies as you can. But of course, you need to stop if you're tired. So let's see how you can schedule your breaks. Ideally, you should push in blocks. The best time to take breaks is when you lose. Otherwise, if you don't lose, just take one every 30 to 60 minutes, depending on how much time you can stay focused. Every match is intense, and you need to stay focused all the time because the stakes are high. So go above that time only if you don't have enough time before the season ends, or if you completely trust your teammates. But those tips will never work if you don't put this next tip to good use. Let's focus on your mentality. First, if you don't feel like pushing one day, it's okay. Don't force it to yourself. Otherwise, you might end up not playing well, getting frustrated and losing more than you should. But no matter what, no one can win every one of their matches. So this is what you should do when you lose. The most important thing is to stay positive. Don't start lashing out to your teammates. We all make mistakes, and you probably made a lot of them when you were playing. Plus, if you're toxic to them, they will start playing even worse. Instead, watch the replay and see what you and your teammates did wrong. Analyze it with them and keep it in your mind to avoid making the same mistake again. Prestige takes time, but this doesn't mean that you can't get it. You have 30 days. So focus, take your time, stay positive, and follow all the steps mentioned before. But if you don't get it at the end, don't let it crush your mentality. You just need to get a little bit better and try it again. And you can do that by subscribing to the channel. I have created a lot of guides that can help you out, and I'm constantly making new ones. So for now, you can choose which one you want to watch next, and hopefully I'll see you there.